Right, let's try number 42. Aluminum sulfate. Well, aluminum is positive 3, and sulfate is negative 2. So therefore, the correct formula of aluminum sulfate is Al2 parenthesis SO43. And this reacts with ammonium bromide. Ammonium is NH4 positive 1, and bromide is negative 1. Oh, this is an easy NH4Br. And this produces aluminum bromide. All the charges are already on the board. Therefore, aluminum bromide is simply AlBr with 3 Brs being involved, 3 bromide groups. And finally, ammonium sulfate. Look, ammonium is positive 1, sulfate's negative 2. Therefore, you need 2 ammonium groups to be involved with the sulfate. You can probably already tell which groups we can count as a unit or as a group. Polyatomic ions. We're going to count sulfates as a group. We're going to count sulfates as a group. So I'm going to put a circle around the sulfate. There's one more that we can count as a group. We can definitely count ammonium as a group. You see that? So let's keep that in mind when we start counting. How many aluminum are in the reactant side? There are 2 units, these 2. How about on the product side? 1. We already know we're going to need some coefficients. How many sulfate groups? Be careful. There are 3 groups of sulfate. That's very critical that you can recognize that. 3 sulfate groups. And what about on this side? There are 1. There is 1 group of sulfate. That one right there. We're going to count ammonium as a group. Ammonium. How many ammonium groups? There's only 1 on the reactant side. And on the product side, there are 2 groups. And finally, bromide. There's 1 bromide on the left and 3 bromides on the right. Now, technically, you can start anywhere. So I'm just going to randomly pick to start at aluminum because it's the first thing right here. See it? See it already? You see it? So therefore, in order to balance the aluminum, I need to put a 2 coefficient in front of aluminum bromide. That makes the aluminum balanced. But what does that do to the bromide? Brings that up to 6. But I'm not going to panic because I know that I can put a coefficient here. And that coefficient would be a 6 because that would cause the bromides to go up to 6. But what does that do to the ammonium groups? Remember, we're counting ammonium as a group. There are now 6 ammonium groups. But again, we're not going to panic because I can place a 3 coefficient in front of ammonium because see how it comes in 2s? That causes it to be 6. But what does that also even accidentally fix? It also fixes the sulfate. And if you look, it's now balanced. And so I'm just going to rewrite that. Look how complicated. But now you're able to balance this very quickly. Al2, SO43, aluminum sulfate, reacts with 6 moles of ammonium bromide. And this produces 2 moles of aluminum bromide and 3 moles of ammonium sulfate. The more you experience counting polyatomic ions in groups, the better you'll become at doing this.